They're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father? You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
Welcome to the periodic table of awesome.
Yes, hello there.
Hello. Fuck you.
I was wondering who was going to be the first one to do it, and I'm so glad
Fuck
that
no.
it's
None of that shit.
Hang on.
I'm
Can I?
not saying it now.
Wait. Hello there.
General
Obi-Wan's
Kenobi.
popping up everywhere. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you, Jill?
Oh, dear.
I am on the edge of paranoia about maybe I've got COVID and I'm going to miss the Thor red carpet on Monday. So
I can
that's a
understand.
thing.
I can
That's a thing.
understand if you're going to feel a little Thor about that one, Jill.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
taking those vibes into the weekend.
Dearie me.
How are you?
I'm good. We've gotten through the week. It's Friday night, and that's
Sure.
a fucking good thing. Yes, I'm
Is
looking
it-
forward to a weekend of watching Star Trek and Orville and
Tea or
And-
whiskey? That's my question.
it might have whiskey. I don't know. Are you drinking whiskey?
I'm having a
never really sure.
musket.
If there is, there's a lot.
Cheers.
Oh fuck! I forgot to bring a drink.
Um,
Damn it!
It's tea.
You'd think I'd be better at this after all this time.
This is
wouldn't you?
medicine for my
It's
COVID.
Friday. Hello everyone, and hello everyone in the chat, which is
Hello, chat.
Oh,
Hello,
shit, I
chat.
didn't open the chat window. God
Hello
damn
there.
it.
Yes, I mean
They're
to get it
right
all
there.
out now.
Tari's there, Predakanga's there, Adski's there.
Everyone has to say a hello there now and get it out of your system. We're not going to refer back to this.
Yeah,
Everyone
can we
knows that.
all just all together as one on three give us a quick hello there? 1, 2, 3.
Hello
Hello
there.
there.
Excellent.
That felt a bit gross.
It did. Yeah. I felt like I was both being hit. Yeah, their chat's going perfectly.
Yes,
Beautiful
excellent.
work, guys.
Yes. Except for Rob. Oh, come on, Rob.
What the fuck, dude?
Hi there. That's Wish brand Obi-Wan.
G'day.
G'day, Cocko. That's just Owen. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, yes.
Ah.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about because
we
we're
kinda
6
do.
episodes.
Do, do we have a lot to talk about, or is this just one of those things where I feel kind of a bit tired now after watching this episode? I don't know why.
Don't you want to see the follow-up series where there's like maybe a big ship they've got to destroy and
Oh
everybody's a
yeah,
bit
I'd
older?
love to. I'd love to really get to know the story of a grown-up Luke and see what happens to them.
I'd like to see him when he's, I don't know, 18, 19, something like that. You
Maybe
know,
he'll
really
become a-
young, full of fire.
Maybe he'll
Yeah.
become a war criminal.
Maybe.
Maybe he will murder literally tens of thousands of stormtroopers in some weird way, just once.
Takes after his dad, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, sick burn.
Hang on, you've even got the sound effect for that deal.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Hang on. There we
Yeah,
go,
there
that's
we go.
better. Yeah.
All right, enough of that sort of stuff. Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, okay. I don't know how we're going to do tonight. I've already put the spoiler logo up to just go look.
Yeah, this is full spoiler
it's
chat.
Spoilery.
Yeah, I think-
rather than how do I make it more prevalent?
I don't know.
Make it a little bigger. There we go. It's definitely going to be spoilers, but I don't really know about what we're going to do. Well, I mean, I sound like
Well, do you want to talk about it in terms of the weeks and the episodes and stuff like that?
I
'Cause we've got-
find myself emotionally exhausted from watching this series of 6 episodes,
Mm.
but I do feel like it was a good 6 episodes, and I'm happy to talk about it. I just kind of feel like, well, finally, they didn't fuck it up. And now I
Man,
kind
you,
of just
you
I
are
had this,
the quintessential Star Wars fucking fan, aren't you?
sure.
Never happy.
I mean, two guys with beards talking about Star Wars. What a novel concept. Thank you, Jill, for providing us with a much better perspective
Yeah.
Yes.
on these things. But look, I absolutely loved the Young Leia Chronicles,
Yeah.
as I will call this from now on. But it is so much better after having watched the Book of Boba Fett, which was quite frankly very terrible when you go back and you watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway.
this is a show that benefits very heavily from a show that just went ahead of it. Like this is the comedian at the night that goes on after the last comedian has bombed real bad.
Sure.
He's like, fucking anything I can do can't be as bad as that last guy. So let's go.
Oh, I don't even know about that because there was I mean, I'm not going to say everything was perfect in this. I know that we only got 6 episodes. But like not all of them were perfect, and I do have some issues with it. It wasn't a fucking slam dunk every week. Oh my god, this is amazing. But honestly,
There were parts of all of them that I enjoyed.
Sure. It sounds like it's like, oh yes, that some of that was good.
Which is how I try to take my entertainment, dude. Some of that was
Sure.
good. There are bits of it that were shit. I'm not going to let the shit bits overwhelm the bits of it that were good.
If you're going to start having a go at how badly everyone runs in the show, like physically runs, I'm going to agree with you wholeheartedly. No one knows how to run in this show.
I think
that's not a takeaway that I have with this show.
Sure. Everyone in
I do
everyone in the Star
understand what
Wars
you're
universe-
saying though, because in episode, I think it's episode 2, there's a couple of bits where young Leia is running away from
okay,
Obi-Wan, and there is an awful lot of adults chasing a child. Coming to
Yeah,
get
now
you.
that you point that out,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, you pick up the pace and you'll probably be able to grab her.
or if you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
don't,
I was
if you
gonna
just
say,
don't
if you
run
push
straight
just a
into a
little faster.
tree or a branch, you will catch that child.
Mm.
You know.
I'd say he's descended from velociraptors.
Yes. Same physics. You could have made the argument though that it was able to that was possible if it was filmed on a place like the Volume and they're just running in circles.
Yeah.
But no, this was very definitely seemed like it was filmed in Skywalker Ranch, which I kind of feel like a bit of a callback to the Caravan of Courage.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I reckon it was. Like I haven't verified that, but that looked exactly like, oh, they filmed at Skywalker Ranch, like they did a whole bunch of the other things. That's kind of cool. But I will wholeheartedly agree that I'm very happy that Deborah Chow directed all of them, and there
Yeah.
seemed to be a consistent narrative and directorial style and idea of what was going on in the show, which we haven't seen in the movies
Yeah.
and some
And-
of the TV.
Yes. And I think I actually think it makes the show a lot more even across the board. Like, it doesn't feel like there are massive fucking high points and wow, that's a fucking dopey idea, low points.
Sure.
Like, and once again, it's going to be hard to not make comparisons to Book of Boba Fett, where depending on the episode, depending on the director,
Like a panther.
exactly.
You didn't like that episode? It's so quotable.
Yeah, there were parts of Book of Boba Fett I quite liked, but there was lots of it that were dumb as
No,
fuck, so-
I mean, I liked all of the Mandalorian season 2.5 of Book of Boba Fett, but I didn't like a lot of the, they set up some good things, and then they were like, "Where the fuck are you going? You didn't know."
Yeah.
But this one, at least, I feel like it came home to a good place. Like this, the last episode, I was actually watching it, going, "Please don't fuck it up," and that's kind of a bit strange, but it's also what you come to expect with Star Wars. But yeah, in this one, I was just like, and they didn't fuck it up because they could quite easily have just made a terrible ending, and everyone would have gone, eh. In this
I
one,
think this one
yeah.
relied very heavily on having a very solid ending. Like,
You reckon?
and I think we all kind of knew what that ending was going to be. That we were, and we have spoiler logos up and everything. So we all knew that there was going to be some kind of big confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yeah.
Of course, it was in the production design. It was in the.
But like,
it had to.
also
have.
that kind of stuff, and like already having a story that we've seen in the past that's going to be in the future, it kind of just makes the overall point of the story have no stakes. So it's kind of like, why do we need to tell this story?
Yeah, and I really liked I really like how like it told it in the right way because it showed us where it gave us some character development. Like that's the really hard thing to do about this. Because you're quite right, Jill. You're like, yes, there's no stakes. You don't give a shit.
Obi-Wan is going to live.
Yeah,
Vader is going to live. Leia is going to live. Luke is going to live.
Owen is going to live to a point. Baru is going to live to a point. Everyone else was kind of like, fair enough, we could kill everyone. Like, and I'm really happy that in that instance, because they had so many characters that were going to live, they did manage to introduce new characters and focus on them throughout the whole thing, which made it a little easier, even though some of those character decisions were a bit wobbly.
Okay. Give us an example of one you thought was a bit wobbly.
Like a character that's a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
All right. The easy one, like I'm not going to kick an obvious pinata around. Like I'm not going to have a go at Reva. It's very easy to have
because
a go.
I don't think she's even remotely wobbly.
She is. I think she is a slightly wobbly. And I won't have.
Let us pull apart this wobbliness.
I won't have a go. And the next one down from that, the two easy low hanging fruit are the Grand Inquisitor and Reva. Like they're the easily two low hanging fruit. The third one, which was the fifth brother, that's kind of annoying because he was better. Like kind of like all the Inquisitors are better in the Rebels cartoon show. So unfortunately, that's just one of the problems with it. But I did have like a little bit of a annoying kind of God, I'm trying to remember what was his name. I'll look it up while I'm going through here.
What does he do?
Haja, that's right. Haja Estri, the fake Jedi. He was very funny and he was quite good.
Kumail. Yeah.
Well done, Johnny, who I was like, yes, I like him.
Yeah, because he turned out to be okay. But the same thing with the character of the rebel ship pilot underground runner. I was kind of like, it's a little bit of a wasted opportunity. For a couple
I
of
wanted more from him.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like I wanted that, but then I realized that I don't because I want to get all of that in Andor, the other series.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to get all that shit anyway, so I didn't really need to. And it kind of it's right. Like, yeah. Look, I had the problem with Reva because I didn't understand the motivations. Although it was just one of those things you can't have it all at once. Viewing this series as individual episodes without collecting them all together does it a disservice, and that is the problem that they were facing. Is just fans not understanding it because they're watching it in episodic sections and getting angry with it. And I'm just like,
it does my head in, and you know what? It brings me back to that same thing that we had how many years ago, where it was that whole Captain America is an agent of Hydra. In the first issue of a comic book,
right.
Somebody says, and Captain America's there and goes, "Hail Hydra," and the internet loses their fucking mind, and then gets angry and makes a big fucking stink, and doesn't wait for the rest of the fucking story.
Yeah,
like I got so sick of. I mean, the discussion about Reva and this discussion about the third sister became really, A, incredibly toxic, but B, fucking puerile, because she's so angry, she's got no reason to be angry, or she overacts, she's terrible, she's not good, she's this. I'm like, how's about you wait until the end of the 6 fucking episodes before you make your big call on that?
Yeah, I think that's part of the societal culture when it comes to watching streaming shows now is that we've been spoilt for about a decade where a whole series would just drop and people would binge it in a day. And now waiting week to week, it's like, well, you have to talk about it.
And we've got to get our clickbait. We've
Yeah,
got to get
yeah.
our angry,
Yes.
angry clickbait. And is it the fandom menace?
Yeah.
That is never has there been a more wretched hive of fucking scum and villainy.
Yeah. Oh, look, one of the greatest things that I liked about watching the internet go after, like, for the last couple of days, for this has just been the clickbait titles of like, the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi was a big letdown. And I was like, this is just bullshit. You're fishing for clicks. Like, I've seen a few of the bigger, like, areas, like, websites, which I won't name, but they're definitely just going, oh, we'll just fish for a few clicks here. We'll be like, oh yeah, the last episode's not great, and it's got all this. It's like, okay, cool, hot takes, guys. But let's be honest, everyone loved it. I haven't seen anyone come up with like, I kind of like,
Oh, no,
I want to.
there've been a lot of people who didn't like it. There are a lot of complaining people. out
Great, but I mean, have a look at their but I want to see their actual explanation. Because at the moment it's just a whole bunch of like, nah, it's shit. It was a terrible episode. It was like, really? Was it? And like, yeah, I haven't got any proof.
I watched quite a long thread that was all about somebody who we know quite well bitching about the holster.
Yeah.
What?
And making
Why?
the comparison between Han Solo's 2 dice from the Solo movie and Leia's holster as being, lazy storytelling and, we didn't, did we need a backstory for a prop?
But do you did that even? Wow, that's just.
But on the
fucking
other
weird.
hand, that's the kind of Easter egg bullshit that other people eat up.
Absolutely. And is it even an Easter egg? Like,
You're never gonna please everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I find it exhausting sometimes.
yeah, I mean, like, okay, interesting that you've read those kinds of things because I just kind of go, okay, cool story, bro, and then I'm going to move on. But if you're getting angry about a prop,
Yeah.
but I mean, I can too. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm immune to it. Look at my fucking t-shirt. Come on.
Hang on, sorry.
And yet there were no okay, this is one of the things when this one came out, because it was post Book of Boba Fett, I had no expectations about whether or not it was going to be good, because I'm like, well, you fucked up Boba Fett, so I have no idea what you're going to do with Obi-Wan. It doesn't matter if you're like teasing out that Hayden Christensen's going to be in it and all these other things. I'm like, yeah, great, okay, how's it going to go?
I hung all my hopes on Dion because I love
Sure.
him as Obi-Wan and I like him in everything.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what? He's going to act the shit out of it and it's probably going to be good.
I really liked it because I got the take that they were going for with it, which is like, he's broken. Like, he's completely broken and he just doesn't want any part of it. What I couldn't quite get was the rest of it. Like, I really got his performance in the first few episodes and I'm like, I know what this character's about. This is going to be great. And then everyone else around him, like, I really didn't kind of get the Inquisitors. Mainly because I feel like Jason Isaacs was hard done by.
You wanted Jason Isaacs?
Yes, I will have.
Grand
There's
Inquisitor?
nothing wrong with Rupert. He did a good crack at it, but he's no Jason Isaacs. And also, he looks nothing like how they're supposed to look. I have you can't convince me on that, because the Grand Inquisitor is from Utapau, Powan. Okay, fine.
Is your gonk ready?
Yeah, there. Fuck, have it on you. Played very wonderfully on screen in episode 3 by Bruce Spence, coming hot off the back of being the mouth of Sauron, and straight into the very tall, very thin, wispy guy. And it's kind of like Darth Vader just bonked the Grand Inquisitor on the head, and it was like, Rupert. It's kind of like,
yes, I see what you're saying.
But I even feel like he didn't do that good a job in it. Like, he wasn't menacing. He wasn't kind of like this kind of evil thing. Like, I mean, hey.
I thought he was kind of scary in that weird disconnected emotionally way.
Yeah, and this, like, in that way, he is kind of disconnected, but I mean, he already has a character established in a way that he goes about things too, and he's like that, but he's just a bit more menacing with the Jason Isaacs voice, who is just kind of like, yes, I'm cold and detached, but I will hunt you. and he is
Yeah.
the primary hunter. In this one, it doesn't feel like he was hunting. He was just like, waiting for these two others to do all the. He didn't have the passion for it, which I kind of
See,
understood that.
I enjoyed the interplay between him and the other Inquisitors, specifically Reva, because I loved seeing somebody who was actually competent. Like seeing her, hunting Jedi and being fucking really sneaky and really
Mm.
smart about the way that she was setting shit up. I was like, oh yes, that's good. Not just walking into the middle of town and going, tell us where the Jedi are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Jedi.
Yes, you look like you're a Jedi. I'm going to chase you on foot slowly.
Yeah. Although I will agree with one thing, I'm a bit done with Tatooine now.
Oh my God. I
Can we
saw the
just
best
not?
meme today, and it was a dude that was just like super tired. It was like, oh, Tatooine carrying the series for 45 years.
Oh dear. Yes. Like, I mean, everyone understands that. And like I'll say, like, fine, Tatooine has to have some scenes set there because that's where fucking Obi-Wan is. But why are the Jedi going to this place that's literally like introduced to us in 1977 of like, oh, in the backwater in the arse end of the galaxy where no one would ever come? It's like there's a lot of fucking stormtroopers. There is a lot of fucking Empire. There's a lot of Inquisitors. There's a whole bunch of shit that has happened there, Plus Darth Vader is kind of like Tatooine again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like I
therein lies
fucking
the
hate
real
that
problem.
place.
Like there's this whole sort of conceit that realistically the fucking prequels set up, which is that, if we'd gone to Tatooine once in A New Hope, cool, fine. We've gone back to it in Return of the Jedi. Okay, there's a little bit of, rhyming poetry there. But then in episode 1, why did we have to start there? Why did we have to go back there then and set fucking Anakin as being on Tatooine? Because that then just makes the whole thing fucking silly.
Well, I mean, come on. Like, I kind of like to think of it though. If Darth Vader had grown up and he's like, "What's he gonna do now?" Well, he's gonna go and glass the planet. Like, I hate that fucking place. I'm gonna destroy the fucking shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yes, which maybe he should do a bit more of.
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I don't want to pick it apart too much, but can I get onto the things that I
What we're
really
here
did?
for.
Can I get onto the things I really did like?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Baby Leia.
It's
well
she's
known.
so fucking precious.
You've got to have a baby version of something, and why not have a tiny Princess Leia, who I think did a phenomenal fucking job of Loki saying, "Hey,
Lyra Blair.
this show is
Sass
about
machine."
This show is about." But see, they got it, but they got it with like the 3-4 different ways that they got it perfectly. Excellent costuming, referencing all of her costumes around. Excellent dialogue and great sass from the kind of baby Leia. Like I loved all of this. And yes, I will agree. Yes, Lola is just a merchandising opportunity.
I don't give a fuck. I want one.
Yeah. And you can have
But it
one,
has
Quinny.
to hover. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
No, it
Yes.
doesn't hover, but there is an animatronic one for 180 Australian dollars or about 90 American dollars that you can buy.
Does it have a hidden switch that says evil?
Yes. Here's your problem.
See, I love that twist,
Evil.
but it was so fucking obvious.
Oh, it was dumb. Like, it was so
I
fucking
like the let's put a tracking thing in Lola. That's cool. Why did Lola have to then turn evil? That was unnecessary. Let's be honest.
Because if she didn't have a red eye, you wouldn't know she's evil.
Exactly.
That's how kids know the evil Jedi. They got red lightsabers.
Yeah, true. Very
know?
true. I've just put a link in the chat that is actually a picture of Carrie Fisher as a 9-year-old to be able to compare.
Oh, is
Excellent.
that the one where she has a bird called
Yep.
Lola? That's
Yes.
just so fucking cute. What a lovely
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yes, I don't know
you
that.
know?
I think's in there, Terry, in the chat. She's like, "Oh, the droid builders have already made one." I'm like, "Yep, I saw 3D files the day after that thing aired, the episode aired."
Terrifying.
And I was
Insane.
like, "Wow, nerds are fucking! Oh my god! Like, how do you do that?" But I'm great. I get everything I've ever wanted.
The
I
power
actually-
of the RPF compels you, my friend.
I had that realization the other day as when I was just sitting there going, I have everything I ever wanted as a child. I have Star Wars Lego. That exists now.
Yep.
I can go online and get any kind of weird side character / piece of a different planet diorama that someone has already made in 3D and put out to the world. Like, you know, all of the nerd things that I liked are now so mainstream that they, it's literally like tentpole events. Like everyone's excited for a movie about a comic book character. Like there's no problems now. Why would I complain about anything?
That's the whole point of growing up and getting a job, so you can buy all the stuff you didn't get when you were a kid.
Sure, but I mean, I think of it in
Yeah.
like different ways. Like if I go back to post World War II, kids growing up then, they wanted certain sorts of toys, but when they got to adulthood, they were like, "Nope, you're done. Get a car,
Yeah.
buy a house." Those kinds of things. It's
But
it's
also,
interesting.
those kids grew up with tin toys of a car and a house. So literally, they were doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, they're
as
also
we are.
made of lead, so they went a bit nuts.
Yeah, they were slightly crazy. Sorry, I do want to point out what Predacanga said in the chat, and I fucking love that. I love the idea that that's how Darth Vader got the idea to put a tracker on the Millennium Falcon. He learnt it from Reva.
Sure.
I'm like, okay,
True.
I dig that.
Yeah, like hey, if you can do callbacks and interesting things, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. All right. Like
So okay, other things that you really liked. I mean, we love Baby Leia. She's
yeah,
not
Yeah.
baby, she's a
Baby Leia
10-year-old
was great, and that was such a great
She's still
hidden.
a baby.
It's a great hidden like little gem because everyone's going there expecting to watch Obi-Wan, and you find out Obi-Wan's actually very fucking boring.
She's a wee little 10-year-old, honestly.
She's tiny, isn't she?
But she's fine. Like some 10-year-olds are fucking tiny.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying she's cute. She's a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point,
and
David. That
sassy.
I think it was a smart bait and switch for us as viewers, that we came in going, okay, this is going to be a story about Obi-Wan. It's going to be and everybody had made the joke. It's going to be Obi-Wan sitting on a planet having weekly adventures as he then has to go back and look after Luke.
And this one's
then
like, oh
in
no.
the first episode is like, nah.
Yeah. I mean, I like for as much of all of the things I liked about it, it actually kept some of the great things which were very fucking silly. Like I'll reference very quickly the 3 men in a trench coat thing of fucking Obi-Wan. Like, how are we gonna get out of here? We're just gonna walk you under the trench coat to a base. It's totally normal. And all of the
They should have Leia on the shoulders with the coat up to there. The tiny little head on the big body.
it was, that kind of
Like
stuff.
that
going-
bit from like Men in Black with all the worms in the trench coat.
Mafter.
Yeah. Stormtrooper. Yeah, go fuck yourself. If you wonder what that skit is, go look it up. Robot Chicken Emperor.
I liked that. At the time, I was just like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've seen Star Wars doing.
I know.
But then, when the tracker was put in, I was like, okay, I'll give him that. That was okay. Fair.
I mean, this it took a little while to grab me because I didn't really know where it was going to go, how they were going to try and resolve a few things. Like some of it was interesting, but it was obviously going to be a slow burner from start to finish. So I didn't know when the action beats would happen that would keep me engaged and trying to follow on where the tension would be. So every now and again, like for episode 1 was great because it introduced part 1, sorry, not episode. Part 1 was great because it introduced the Leia subplot, and that was where all the tension came from because she was being kidnapped. Part 2 gets onto that kidnap thing where Obi-Wan is drawn out and has to go to a different planet. We got off Tatooine.
We got off Tatooine, and he looked so unhappy about it too. And also, I liked that this is Obi-Wan that catches the bus.
Yeah, and also that Obi-Wan is very shit. Like this is one of the things that I have to admit when I got to part 3, I had so many issues with part 3, but now in a whole.
I mean, Quarry fight was
bad. So Quarry, I was kind of
Quarry fight.
no fuck off.
I
Like Quarry
didn't.
fight was really bad because I felt like
was
they'd
terrible.
blown their load a little bit too early by having Obi-Wan versus Vader very quickly. I loved how menacing Vader was. I love that it kind of ramped up very quickly, but the Quarry fight was such a letdown because I'm like, you're Disney. You have so much fucking money.
Oh, it wasn't even just the setting for me. It was just the it felt too premature to have a confrontation then.
Yeah. And also, like, it felt very. If there's one complaint that I'm going to have about it, like, I am still totally fucking confused as to Vader's power level.
Oh, he's OP.
Yeah, but I mean, but he's not. Like, I mean, there was this
Because
thing
it
was
seems
like
to change.
in that episode, it's like he's either totally over, like,
Yeah.
or he's because he's just there and he's like, oh, some fire's happening directly in front of me. Damn, Obi-Wan got away, and I'm like, he hasn't. You can just go around the side.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Or you have the Force, just pull the fire apart and walk straight fucking through it.
Or just push the fire down, which you just did before.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you've shown literally 10 seconds ago that you have control over the height of the flames.
Yeah. Or you've
It's
literally
plot physics, okay?
you've shown 15 seconds ago that you're very comfortable just lifting Obi-Wan up and making him immobile.
Yeah.
So you could quite easily have just reached through and gone, I'll just lift him over that fire. No, fuck you, he's mine. You know?
But then we would need 3 more episodes.
Sure. And then by the end of the, fifth part 5, Vader's just like, oh, a ship trying to leave? Fuck that noise. And then I'll just start tearing bits off it. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know where your fucking power level is.
Even I had a Vader boner in that episode. That was crazy.
God love a Vona.
One thing I wish that they'd done, and I thought it was a very easy fix in that episode, and I'm not going to be the person who rewrites the fucking episode and makes it better. But you've got the rebel lady whose name I can't for the fucking life of me remember.
Dear Obama.
Yeah. Sorry, Tala.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah, no, I was had it in front of me. So you have Tala there. She's taken pot shots. All you need to do in that case is just, hit something on Vader's armor that stops him breathing, and you've got a perfectly good excuse for why he suddenly loses his
hold on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think
nice,
you're just
answer,
picking.
but...
I think you're just picking at it, Quinny. It's perfect, and no, okay. But I mean, I at least he got to introduce someone, which was interesting, because there was so many interesting bits that came along with this, especially space fascist collaborators. Remember that bit?
Oh,
that was a really great one. Remember, they went to the planet and they're like, "Oh yeah, no worries, we just need a lift." Yep, isn't it good? Love the Empire, and you're like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
space collaborators."
That was actually for me one of the best moments in the series because that's a thing that anyone who's hitchhiked or whatever could suddenly relate to. The moment that you come around the back of somebody's pickup and see the little sticker that says "You can take my gun from my cold dead hands," or "Get in, sit down, shut up, and hang on," or something along those lines.
I did like someone pointed out
the
that
Confederate flag.
He was a mole.
Literally.
Literally, he was a mole. But like that was a really interesting thing because it presented us with the moral dilemma that everyone has been in Star Wars for that whole time, but it confronted the viewer with it. And I thought that was really interesting that they put that out there. And then you get introduced to Tala, who has a dramatic switch from Imperial smuggling officer who's just gone, well, my cover's blown, so that's years of work down the tube, and I'm out. And also my favorite new silent droid, Ned B, who is
Neddy B.
Ned B, who's definitely going to hit something with a hammer and then never does. So disappointing. My fucking God. I was just waiting for that because we all know that the best badass weapon in Star Wars universe is a hammer, especially if it's wielded by the Mandalorian armorer.
Right.
Remember that when she beat the fuck out of all those stormtroopers with a hammer and tongs? I was like, yes, my communist
literally
friend.
went hammer and tongs.
Yes, she did go hammer and tongs. And then Ned B had that little thing. It was like, I have a hammer. It's a stormtrooper here. I've got a hammer. And I was like, ooh, excellent. We're gonna see. Oh, but unfortunately, he went the way of the other droid from Rogue One. God, K2SO.
K2SO.
There we go. No. Shut up.
Gonk yourself. You're gonking us now.
Yeah, I'm gonking you.
He's my favorite so far. I love K2.
Yes. Well, K2 was fucking badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I love a
snarky
fucking
as fuck.
sassy droid. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I also do like that Tari's saying in the chat there that we haven't actually seen that much of that of the average everyday person who's actually like, Empire's fine.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I'm,
true.
I'm just going about my life. It's stable. There's money. If I don't do the wrong thing, I make my money. I can give the stormtroopers a lift. They're fine. They're just guys.
yeah.
And you're
If
like,
this is the thing, if I sidle up to power, I may like everything's okay for me. Like if I collaborate and I do what they want, and I'm always like that, and I'm thankful for it. They will protect me because that's
Yeah,
how
like
it
which
is.
side of the universal genocide do you want to be on?
Sure.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because that is a real question that people have quite often asked themselves of like, it's all around me.
Mm.
Am I the one who's going to be the one who fights back? Am I the one that's going to get fucking destroyed because I can see that it's maybe not comfortable? And that's exactly what that guy is. Somebody who's just going along with it because he doesn't care about the politics.
Mhm.
And then you're like, oh.
But I mean, you
Then
can
he
sort of-
dies, so it's fine.
You kind of see how that works. I mean, after like the Clone Wars, which took I don't know exactly how long they were, which is bad. I should know how long
Some
they lasted.
years.
Some years. It's been a few years of just stability, and everyone's sort of forgotten about everything. And as long as you do what the Empire says, they'll make sure everything's relatively fine, except for the fact that they're just like strip mining planets and doing all this stuff for their weird war machine.
Yeah, but as long as you got your papers with you and you haven't done anything wrong,
They're
I mean,
creating
the only
jobs,
people who've
like-
got anything to fear are people who have done something wrong.
Sure. And only a few years later is the Solo movie in the timeline. So you've got to remember that it's very close to this bit too. So we could actually see Obi-Wan run into a young Han Solo somewhere.
Alden Ehrenreich, or what do you reckon? We bringing him back?
I don't know. Maybe we'll get Mother of Dragons. Khaleesi will come in and she'll talk to Obi-Wan. And speaking of that, I'm very happy they didn't include Maul in this one.
Well, I mean, technically it wouldn't have made much sense.
Yes.
Um,
Well, it could have.
he's not dead by then, is he?
No, he's very much alive.
Yeah, that's right.
Canonically, he dies in the Rebels cartoon episode Twin Suns in season
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
He's currently a half spider thing, right?
No, he's got his legs back at this stage.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings me to is Darth a first name?
I'm starting to
Or
think
is it a
may be an
title?
insult.
It's a title.
See, I
Jill.
thought it was a title. So
It's-
why is he going around saying Mr. Darth?
Dark Lord of the Sith. Darth Vader.
What?
Dark Lord of the Sith. Darth.
That's a bit of a stretch.
That'd be darts.
Yeah.
Lovely darts.
Ooh, big stretch.
Is there a dog here?
Oh, you watched that too?
Oh, fuck you guys.
I did love it at the end though, where he calls him Darth, because it is that thing that up until that point he's been like Vader this, Vader that, occasionally an Anakin, and then at the end it's Darth,
Yeah.
and it
there
becomes
was-
an insult.
There was a moment earlier in the series where someone called him Darth, but it sounded like in the way of like his first name was Darth, not talking to him as if he was titling him Darth. And I'm like, I don't think Darth's a first name.
Well, no one's going to get around very long if you just walk into the room like, hey, Darth, what up? Did we like, did anyone, out of curiosity, did anyone here or even in the chat, did you play the computer game Jedi Fallen Order?
No, but I really want to. I hear it's quite good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Tomb Raider in the Star Wars universe. Let's be completely honest. But that's a good game. Like, it's just Tomb Raider in the same engine mechanics, like narrative effect thing that it does to get around, but you're a Jedi instead of a Tomb Raider. But it is quite good, and it also introduced the Fortress Inquisitorius, and then they replicated it kind of for this one, which made it really cool because in one point,
I'd say that underwater fortress, or the half underwater fortress.
yeah, the one that's on the moon in the Mustafar system. So like, there's the
cool.
there's the lava planet that Darth Vader's fortress is on, like his temple, and then there's another moon in that same system that is where the Fortress Inquisitorius is, and that's on that water planet. But that was really
Okay.
cool to see.
That's cool.
That is cool. I do have a question about the Fortress Inquisitorius, however.
Yes.
And this, I'm not sure whether this is a criticism or it's just a confusion. When Obi-Wan gets down into the guts of that place and is trying to find Leia, this is episode 4, I believe, part 4, sorry.
Mhm.
He finally gets through this door, and there's a whole bunch of people in stasis of some
Yeah.
description.
Oh yeah.
Now, were any of them familiar to anyone, or was it just meant to be random Force-sensitive people? Because I was really expecting to see a few Jedi in there.
There were a couple of Jedi in there. There was a youngling that was in there, and then there was also. It was hard though because it was such a flash, and like thousands of people, I think, across the
Yeah, but there was
planet.
like one of those alien-y
Was
guys,
it a
right?
Yeah.
Quarren or
The
something like that?
Rastafarians.
There was
Was Kit Fisto there?
no, Kit Fisto wasn't in there. But there was a Jedi which was canonically confirmed. There was an older Jedi, which I can't remember his particular race, but he was in the Rebels TV show, or maybe the Clone Wars one, where he was running around with Ahsoka for a little while, but he was in there. He was like old then in that cartoon, and then they just kind of went, "Yeah, it's this guy." Yeah, he obviously died, and they caught him, and they put him in the amber or whatever it is. I just want to know who else is in there. It'd be fun to see exactly who's locked away there.
Honestly, that's what I was kind of hoping for. I felt like we were sort of building up to this big reveal of this thing of
Who's
either
in
an
there?
experiment that was being done that was terrible, or, you know, here's 50 of Obi-Wan's closest Jedi pals who are stuck in amber.
Sure.
And this is something that is going to, you know, help him sort of be motivated. But it was kind of like, here's a youngling, some random people, a Jedi in the background.
Someone
And I
else.
was like,
Maybe-
Oh my god.
Maybe go watch the new Rockstars episode.
oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
there's
did
a-
breakdowns for the series. They might
I
say
do
something.
like new rock stars. Like
Yeah.
for the
I like
amount
watching
of-
the Easter egg episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I enjoy them because they have the time and the energy to go through and pull out everything.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, good, thank you. I didn't have to do it.
yeah, if I didn't have to have a job or other things, sure, I could spend my entire days happily going through frame by frame each one of the Obi-Wan episodes. Be like, oh my god, they referenced this.
Yeah, if we were making lots of money off our YouTube channel that specifically did that, yeah, you could have that as your full-time job.
Sure. Well, and if that's the case, then like and subscribe.
We'll
maybe
have to
chuck
make
us-
some merchandise and sell
chuck
that
us
too.
some dollars on our Ko-fi, or ask us whether or not we're going to start up an OnlyFans. I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe I will. I'll just do this.
You're giving it away for free, dude. Don't give it
Oh,
away.
no. Not what I'm going to do. It'll be that, but with feet.
So okay, so episode 3 has the fight in
The quarry fight, which I thought was
quarry fight that
very
not a big
shit.
fan of.
No.
I liked parts of it, I really did, but then it ended
Sure.
kind of dumb.
Mm.
Part 2, however, had the big chase sequence through
Mhm.
the city that looked a bit like Coruscant, but wasn't.
No.
Oh yeah.
I dug that
Blade
because
Runner-ish.
that was one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, right. This is, you know, Star Wars TV on a good budget can do a pretty cool looking sci-fi city and have Obi-Wan, you know, with his blasters pew-pewing on the rooftop, and there's cool lizard man who's hunting him and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I got excited in episode 2 because I was like, okay, this is the scope that we could be working at. And then episode 3 went to a quarry. so-
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's the sort of thing. Like, I like that episode because it was kind of like, oh, there's a knockoff Forlom robot that's in there. Because one of the robot bounty hunters looks like another one called Forlom, but it's not because he's got a bandolier. This one has a bandolier. And then there was that lizard one, which is, I'm still waiting to see whether or not that is a reference to a very obscure lizard race of people from the expanded universe.
I think it is. I was reading up on them, and they certainly look an awful lot like them.
Yeah, and I
can't
was
think of
like,
their
that is such a deep cut of things. Like, if they've introduced that race, particularly in the Obi-Wan show, I'd be like, oh shit, okay, that's even worse. It's not Bosk, it's a whole other thing, but that's too much gonk.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
Trandoshans. It's a different
Yeah, yeah.
species.
What did we think of the Tamara cameo in that episode?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up.
I thought
I'll
it was
thank
good.
Rob because Rob brought it up.
Oh, thanks, Rob.
I thought it was good that he was there. I just feel, as I have said before, he was part of the 501st. The 501st was literally like, they were commanded by Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker. They'd been around for ages. They also knew that they would have known who Obi-Wan was. So that guy would have definitely known who Obi-Wan was. And if they just explained it by having him go, hey, you look familiar, like, even if he was drunk or high or whatever, because he's a veteran, he could have just been like, you look like someone. I was like, no, I don't. And then he kept walking. It would have been like, fine, I got that. But I just find it weird that he was like, oh, shit, it's a clone. And then Obi-Wan's not like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
All the clones are programmed to kill Jedi on sight. So they would know what they are.
That's a
Bit
point. I
weird.
didn't think about that.
Bit weird.
But how many clones are left after episode 3?
Millions.
Oh.
Because all of the clones that became, like, at the end of the Clone Wars, they literally transitioned seamlessly into the army of the Empire, and then they were phased out as they recruited more people into the army.
Okay.
And and they were they were just kind of let go if they weren't needed, and they realized that cloning is expensive, and they could just
So like
pull
10 or
from,
more years after the Clone Wars, would there still be clones
yeah,
in the
absolutely.
army? Okay.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah.
And most of them were rotated out or just discharged or whatever once they had enough stormtroopers from the other pool of everything. But I mean, it's very.
There's a plot line in one of the animated series. I think it's the last bit of the Clone Wars that they start talking about the whole thing of clones are too expensive. We need to start recruiting, which is kind of the end of the Clone Wars because it's like the Ahsoka storyline at the end.
And
there.
Tarkin was a big proponent of getting rid of clones. He didn't believe that they were they weren't good because they weren't zealots. They were programmed. So there were too many problems with that sort of thing. Where they could just breed zealotry and, nationalistic pride or whatever it is into people and get them to join up, because it was security after all of the turmoil, and it was a pay packet, and they could just pull from, and basically what they did is grab people from one planet and then flung them to the other side of the galaxy where they had no connections, and the only thing they had connected was the institution that they were in. And also, like in the Bad Batch cartoon series, they literally went to the Camino cities and blew them the fuck up.
Thank you. And that Rob is pointing out, it's the Bad Batch that I'm thinking of, which is the one where they talk about that changeover and stuff.
Oh, yeah. But they literally fly to those cloning facilities and just bombard it from space and blow it the fuck up. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That explains where the clones went. Except they stole the technology and put it into another mountain, and that's eventually where we get to episode 9, which sucks.
Anyway, yes, it does, but moving on. So, yeah, we skipped over in part 2 the introduction of Haja, the Jedi who's not.
The fake.
I love that concept. I thought that was a great idea.
A bit of comedy and lightheartedness in the series is not bad.
Sorry, say that again?
I said a bit of comedy and lightheartedness in the series is not bad, which is something I think they did very well, bookended to that, I think, with the Jawa scene in the first episode. Which was great.
I forgot about the Jawa.
Yeah, because I mean, it is kind of lighthearted and fun in places, and I think that's what makes it really good. It's lighthearted and innocent when you have Leia, and it's lighthearted and funny when you have jokes, especially things like Jawas being terrible, terrible species. For
stealing parts and selling them back to you.
Yeah, and not even cleaning them because it costs extra. But yes, and then you get Haja, who, for a while there, I was like, why is this character here? What is this person doing?
I think that he fulfills a very important role in that second episode. I don't think the series is actually quite long enough to give him the redemption arc that I feel like he should have had.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm not going to feel sorry.
Redeemed a little too easily.
I'm not going to feel sorry for Kumail because I'm not going to feel sorry for Kumail though, because Kumail has been in the X-Files, a Marvel movie, and Star Wars, so he's got the Holy Trinity. You don't need the
X Files is part of the Holy Trinity.
Only
Of
to
s-
Dion and Phil.
of nerds, of nerd things, like
See, I would have said a DC movie, maybe.
or a
Yes.
Star Trek one.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
What's
if
the
you'd
what's
done
the
Trek, I'd
what's
be,
the clean sweep? It's a Tony, an Oscar, and
An EGOT.
an EGOT. Yeah, what's
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
yeah? There we go. So you've got we have to figure out what the sci-fi EGOT is. Star
Hmm,
Wars,
we'll work
Star
on that.
Trek, Marvel, DC.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can't come up with a
Wars,
great
Wars,
acronym for
Trek,
that.
Marvel, DC.
Hmm.
There we go. Put
And
that.
I
The chat
believe
can
that
do
Ming
that.
Na Wen has basically done all of it but the DC.
That's
What about
true.
Dems.
Sorry?
DMSS.
Dems.
Dems.
She's also a Disney princess, so she's just fucking overachieving like there's no
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got episode 2 with
Mhm.
Haja, episode 3, the quarry fight, episode part 4, which is the infiltrator stronghold and the getting out, part 5, which was one of the ones that I had some problems with, like the siege of the base. I liked parts of it, but I was very annoyed by the complete lack of any strategy. Our strategy is we're going to land on the planet, we're going to fire a big gun at the door, and when that stops working, I'm going to cut through the door and then everybody's going to run straight.
I'm gonna fire a big gun at the door again,
Yeah.
multiple times. See, I mean, I think there's always been that one little problem, not really a little problem, but a huge problem, which is when a Star Destroyer shows up, you just park that over the thing that you want, and if you can't catch them on the ground, you just blow the fuck out of them.
And I mean, in this case, yes, he wants to capture them. You can understand why they're sending people down. But I don't know, the big gun at the door felt a bit shit.
Yeah, look, I mean,
And I can see from your face, Jill, that you're not as worried by it.
I mean, it's just like
It's a
well,
merchandising opportunity.
Why don't we do it the quick way? Because we need to fill the time slot.
We have 50 minutes of this episode.
sure. I mean, you know,
Also, they kind of had like a laser in their hand that they could cut through the door.
And it annoyed me that like he has a whisper conversation with her up against the door and then she sticks it through.
Yeah,
You're
it's like,
why didn't you do that earlier?
yeah.
also, like,
And your laser cutter spins. So essentially it's a circular saw.
technically speaking, now she was also at that point she had become the Grand Inquisitor. So why couldn't she have taken the rest of the Inquisitors with her?
Because
Who
they
made
couldn't
them?
afford Han again. Sorry, fifth brother.
There's so many
Raiden.
more.
Yeah, Raiden or one of my favorite facts about him. That's
Or
the
Paddy
character of-
Farmer.
Sorry.
Paddy Farmer with that horrible hat.
Yeah, not. Oh wow, I hadn't even put that together. Oh,
Mm,
Porkies.
let's put an Asian in a rice farmer hat.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hey, that's already established as like another thing in another thing.
But even still, but Sung Kang is the actor.
I love that his name in Fast and Furious was Han Solo.
Yes, because the dude's a fucking massive Star Wars nerd.
Yeah.
For that alone, I'm like, dude, good on you. You managed to make it.
So good.
I enjoyed that. But yeah, you're right. Where were the other Inquisitors at that point? But then again, if you'd had the other Inquisitors there, we would have killed Reva off pretty early when she did that dumbass thing of telegraphing her strike on Vader.
Sure. I mean, okay. What did you think of that character twist? Did it make sense to you that was what she was going to do, and that you saw that's why, even though she still wanted to kill Kenobi, like it just felt that she wanted to kill everyone. What was her end goal there? Just to kill everyone? Like it didn't
Yeah, I
matter
guess
who you
she's
are,
just
good,
mad.
bad, indifferent. I'm just angry at everyone.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn
Yeah,
the
she's
universe
mad.
down.
She's like, someone killed all my friends. So I'm just gonna fucking go and kill everybody else.
Yeah, somebody killed my friends and basically killed me. I just happened to survive. Now,
Hmm.
I'm not. There's a question as to how the fuck she survived having a lightsaber put through her, but whatever.
Well, I mean, this is the whole point.
Revenge.
There's a very good explanation to this. When she was a child, she had like Anakin put his lightsaber through her, and it created a nice little cauterized hole, and she didn't
Just
die.
keep stabbing the same spot.
Exactly. This is the whole
Yeah.
thing. Like, there's a hole in her. And so every time someone stabs her, she's just going through the same hole. Like, it's
Yeah.
healed around that. So
Yeah.
basically, she's one of those unkillable people. Also, I do love the fact that if you stab a Jedi once lightly, they're immobile. Like, if you don't remember the episode 2, where Dooku stabs Obi-Wan a few times with a lightsaber and makes him incapacitated. Like, if you basically whiff a lightsaber near a Jedi, they're dead. I.e. Qui-Gon Jinn, but you can literally cut a fucking Sith in half and they will live. You can stab one with a lightsaber, gonna live. You can cut someone's face with a lightsaber, a Sith like with a lightsaber, they're gonna live. Like,
You know what the difference is? They have hate in their heart, therefore spite. They're like,
Yep.
fuck you, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna
Yeah.
come back and I'm gonna fuck you up.
then that means
Where
Dark side.
Jedi's are like, oh, too hard, bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna go be with the Force.
Yeah.
oh sweet Force Ghost time. Boo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas
it's like, oh, I'm out. No, not for me.
the Sith and the bad guys are like, shit, this is the only chance I get. I'm coming back. I have no Force ghosts for me.
Yeah, and then it's
I
like,
think that makes sense.
Although weirdly, Anakin had a Force ghost at the end, but whatever.
Yeah,
because he redeemed himself because he murdered the Emperor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, except it was weird that it became like younger Anakin before he turned to the dark side.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
no, no.
Yeah. We don't talk about the.
Let's go with
edits.
Sebastian.
What about-
So, okay, I really like that twist, and I didn't even say there's that much of a twist because from the moment the first shot of the series is seeing the younglings being taken out by Anakin, and
Yeah,
think
I
I
mean, we
said to
knew
you
it
after we
happened.
watched the second episode, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that first youngling is Reva.
yeah,
Mm,
it would
'Cause
make
the
sense.
first shot is her.
mm.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that was like, okay, there's something there, but what's the reasoning? Is it because she wants revenge, or is it because? And I was intrigued to know what the storyline was they were going to go with. Is there another version where Vader doesn't kill her and takes her under the wing, and then she becomes his little thing that we've never talked about before? And yeah,
Vader can't have an apprentice because he is already an apprentice.
right. But yes, I don't know. So I'm guessing you didn't love it, Dave?
Which one? The twist?
The twist, yeah.
No, I thought it actually finally made a little bit more sense for her character as that sort of thing. But then I kind of like you got to take it as a whole. All right, she's got a whole arc and a whole journey that's there. I'm not sure that it was one to hang the hat on though. Like the series didn't need to hang its hat on that, and that's okay. It's just a sort of an optional extra. It's like a bonus bit of content. You can't be unhappy with how Reva developed because in context with it, you got everything you wanted from the thing that we wanted to see, which was Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Everything else is just kind of extra. It's just it's a shame, I think, for the Reva character that Leia is so amazing in the show because she just outstripped everything that there's Ned B, there's all of the path people. That's fine, but in the end, I watched this because I was like, so Leia's fucking amazing, and I want to watch everything she does on screen. And we're going to get an Obi-Wan and Vader fight, and it's good. And I liked that, even though it's set up at the start that Obi-Wan was very shit, and they reinforced that he was very shit, it gave him a reason to get better and to find his power again. And then when he did, kind of get back more in touch with himself, he worked out that, yeah, he's still one of the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy, and there's a reason for that he's so powerful. And I believe everything that he did. And also putting him up against Vader in that way made a lot of sense. And I feel like that there was a good understanding of that fight language between Vader and Obi-Wan. the reason Obi-Wan can survive against Vader, because Vader is very, very, very fucking overpowered, is he can do things like roll and tumble and get the fuck out of the way, whereas Vader is literally like a Frankenstein monster. He either has to grab people with the Force or just overpower someone in close quarters. And that's what he kind of did with Reva.
I also liked that we saw that in that flashback episode to Obi-Wan and Anakin when they were still young.
Yeah, I think it really telegraphed that like Anakin's always been a brash fighter and never really uses foresight to come up with tactics on during a fight. So, that's always going to be his weakness.
Yeah, it's power, not
hit harder,
tactics.
hit faster.
Defeat them and get overconfident.
Get more aggressive.
I have you now.
If you can't hit them harder, hit them harder.
Yeah. Well, I love that because it also goes back to those things. Remember in episode 4, he's like, I have you now. And it's like, well, very overconfident. You forgot about the hillbilly trucker. Yeah, come on. If some space trucker comes out of nowhere and screams at you over comms, yeah! What? That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And even though I wasn't entirely sold on the effects of that flashback, like,
I don't know. I thought it was really cool to see like Hayden Christensen in there and not like super young, but like looking a little bit older.
I loved seeing Hayden Christensen again. And I do love that. I feel like this whole series has actually been really good at re-evaluating him as Vader. Because the thing is, he never got to be Vader. He got to be Anakin, and then he got one scene as Vader?
Yeah, like it was a big deal put on him, like going at the end of episode 3. It's like, I finally got to be in the suit. And that was it. He never did anything. And so
two steps and scream no.
It's almost like it's been very interesting to watch that on the internet as well, of watching people getting really excited for Hayden Christensen being on screen again and having more sympathy for those films in a nostalgic way, much like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire got pulled back in. Like at the moment, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's amazing, Hayden's Gare," and actually the prequels weren't that bad, and I'm like, "No, that was still pretty bad." It's just that you shouldn't be a dick to people about their performances, and I find that maybe that's part of maybe that everyone who gets cast in the Star Wars franchise at the moment just has a meeting with a psychologist and goes, "Look, they're either going to love you and you're going to be a fucking golden icon for the rest of your life, which can do no wrong, or they're going to hate you for about a decade, and then they're going to love you." And protect you.
Well, it's like the Brendan Fraser thing. Like, I love that the internet has just rallied around him, and it's like, no, he's our favorite. Like, he's our cinnamon roll. Don't touch him. Like
you leave him alone. He's so nice.
Yeah, I want that for Hayden because he kind of really dropped off the face of the planet after the prequels.
Basically stopped acting.
He was in Jumper. What are you talking about?
Sad.
Did you all forget about Jumper? What a great movie.
Looper, Jumper.
No, Jumper.
He wasn't in Looper.
No, he wasn't in Looper.
Sorry, I knew it was either Looper or Jumper or.
But
one thing what I have seen that I really like though is people kind of looking at his acting, because if you look back at that episode 2 and 3, his delivery is kind of shit, but a few people have pointed out that his delivery is actually very much just like James Earl Jones's delivery. It's just when it's not done with James Earl Jones's voice and through the vocoder and everything, it sounds like bad acting. So, Anakin being kind of stilted and
how did you find the de-aging sort of stuff? And like secondary to that, how did you go with the not James Earl Jones voice?
If you'd told me that it was James Earl Jones, I'd be like, cool. The fact that somebody's like, no, it's a recreated through software, I'm like, that's fine because that's what the character's meant to be.
Yeah. I mean, like it's interesting though that they had James Earl Jones record like as much dialogue as he could in previous times, but they just recreated, like they rebuilt his voice.
And I mean, the thing is, as long as they're doing it with his blessing, and if they're basing it off Hayden Christensen's lines or James Earl Jones's lines, and they're recording, I'm fine with it. If they were doing it without either of their permissions and just, having some sound guy come up with how he thinks the line should sound, I'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. We don't know
Yeah.
exactly what's happening
Yeah,
now, but
maybe it was like a voice modifying thing. Hayden speaking the lines, but it's coming out J.
Which I would love for that to be the case, because I think that would
Mm.
be the perfect synthesis of two actors and stuff like that.
2 actors, 1 character.
Yes. I know where you're going with that.
Hey, shut up.
I haven't seen that video.
What I did love, though, is at the end of episode 6, where we've just had the big, and I mean, we've been dancing around this,
Yeah,
but
It's spoiler
Where the
time.
we're
Well,
going
yeah.
full.
You've all seen it,
part
haven't
6
you?
now.
Is there anyone?
We're
Is
going-
there anyone in the chat or anyone out there who hasn't seen it? Why are you
I
watching
don't
this?
think anybody here would not have seen it. But are we going like full part 6 now? Can we go full part 6?
I think so.
Sure.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go for it.
The fucking emotions from Ewan at the end of that fight,
Ah,
where he apologized.
The
and I'm just
teariness.
like, fucking
I'm sorry for everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like girlfriend. Yes.
Ewan got it. Like, this is the thing. Like, I mean, I think
Yeah.
Hayden absolutely got it as well and had a great time. I think he's acting as Darth Vader in this. If he's doing the physical capture, like that's amazing. But those scenes where he's doing the dialogue reading and the stuff, especially when he's got the half broken mask and his voice is coming
Fuck, I
out,
loved that.
and I'm like,
God,
yes,
that's good.
So good.
yes,
Mm.
because we got to like we've seen that before in some of the cartoons where literally he fought Ahsoka Tano in the same kind of way and had his mask split open and his face is underneath. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. And then they did it in this, and I was like, yes. And also in that right point that explained how he got the scar on the top of his head that never really healed. I'm like, oh wow, that's the Obi-Wan scar. Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah. But yeah, then to have Ewan get in there and just give that emotional performance of like, I'm so sorry, like I fucked up, and
Yeah.
I failed you again, and having to say that again to him.
Yeah.
You know,
And for I've seen a bunch of people going, oh, it's such a big plot hole. He doesn't just kill him. Why? Like, he's got him there. Why doesn't he just like destroy him?
they
the
know
only
that there's
reason he doesn't is
literally-
because he's got to be in the next film. And you're like, did you miss the fucking point of that?
yeah. Did
These
you miss the
people
point
fucking
that
stupid?
like Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't want to kill his friend?
Yeah.
Like his best mate / kind of like guy, and he never killed him the whole time. He was just like, please just stop and leave me alone. You know?
Yeah.
I will throw everything at you. I will fucking throw rocks at you. I will, destroy you. I will fuck up your breathing. I will do all those things. But at the same time, I'm still a Jedi and you're still my friend. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have the high ground.
I remember this whole time.
just the moral high ground.
Yeah,
Oh.
the whole thing is just the metaphor for the show. Obi-Wan is running away from Anakin.
Mm.
You know, for the whole time in this like series, Obi-Wan is like, I don't want to fight you. Like, I have no intention of fighting you. I don't want to. I just want to, like, we've done this. It's happened, and I like that it explained that thing that he is disconnected from everything. He's disconnected from the Jedi. He's disconnected from people. He's disconnected from all of those things. And this series at least had that understanding to like, we need to figure out how to bring him back. And he's brought back into the world and the idea of things and hope for the future through Leia, which is, genius. And then by the end, he does have that connection back. And that allows him to see that he has to have sympathy for Vader, not try and kill him because he's not evil. And then that allows him to connect to the thing that he's been searching for, which is, his old master, which I think was a kind of a beautiful thing. But that came after the wonderful line that we finally got, because there was a petition, I think, that went around beforehand, before the Obi-Wan series started, which was like, if the first line out of Obi-Wan's mouth isn't "Hello there," we're going to riot. And it wasn't. And everyone got a bit
No.
like, oh, when is he going to say the line? Yeah, when is he going to say the line? And
You
then,
gotta save it.
Yeah,
Save
yeah.
it for the
Yeah,
end.
make it worthwhile, and it was.
Yeah.
and did you not
Sorry,
feel
in the
that he
chat,
was,
the bedroom game has brought up an interesting point that one of the things that threw people a little bit is because Obi-Wan in the scene before said,
Yeah.
"Now I need to end this once and for all."
Mm.
So
Hmm.
maybe
I-
that was why people were thinking. But I still take that as like, I want to end the fight. I don't want to kill my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is the way that he actually intended to kill Vader. Like when he got there, he intended to kill him, but then he found out he went to kill Anakin, but then he found out that Anakin was already dead, and he's just like, well, I don't
Yeah,
need
that's
to
a good
kill you.
point.
You're already dead. Like you are.
Isn't it?
Bless you.
But also, I'm not sure because I only watched the once. But does he say that before or after he's cracked open the mask? Because the moment you crack open the mask,
Mm.
you realize that there's a person inside,
Yeah.
and you can have all of the hatred that you want for the black plastic visage of Darth Vader. But the moment that you realize that your friend or what remains of your friend is in there, that changes your intent. And
Yeah,
I think-
yeah. I think making that emotional connection, like having the eye contact,
Oh,
that really changed his mind. And seeing like how messed up he was after
Yeah.
what he did to Anakin,
mm,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And from that earlier time that they met, you whatever you become, Darth, only what you made me. Like that was a line from episode 3 that I thought, part 3 that I fucking loved too, because it's so Vader.
I also
know.
love that, like, that was a part I did like, even though it was in a quarry, I did like that, like, Vader shows up, Obi-Wan's there, and Obi-Wan's like, nope.
Yeah. He's like, wait, I haven't done this for 10 years.
Nope, not doing this. I'm out. Bye. Yeah, like that was one of those things I really enjoyed seeing, and I felt satisfied with that resolution. Also, because by the end of part 6, we get to see a happier Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Someone who has made peace with himself.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, that's the point that you want to get, because eventually, he's going to be just it's just a crazy old man hanging, like someone who's like, I'll just go and get a drink, like, all right, like, I'm cool, everything's fine. Once he's like divested himself of that responsibility of like, I have to protect this child, and then we have to train this child up, and he's got to become a Jedi like his father. And he's just like, oh, wait, no, I had it all wrong. I just needed to let this all happen now. I don't need to have that responsibility. My
But
thing
also,
is just to...
he's come to terms with who the parents were. Like there's that beautiful bit where he's telling young Leia
that was really
about
cute.
who her parents were.
Yeah.
And
what about when she goes like, are you my dad? And it's like, oh. It's like,
baby.
oh. But like that thing of who your dad was, your mum was this and she was amazing, but who your dad was passionate, driven, and he could still see all of those things about his friend who is now dead. And you're just like, those sequences, I had a bit of a Return of the King thing of like, fuck, how many endings are we going to get?
oh, shut the fuck up, Quinny.
But I loved it. I loved it. And yes, okay, I think we do need to hang our hats, doff them, give a bit of love to Bonnie Piesse.
Beru.
And
badass Beru.
and Uncle Owen. Thank you.
Okay, Owen was fine, but Beru is the one who fucking pistol whipped the shit out of Reaper. Like, oh, fuck me.
Yes. Okay. Like, all right. Joel Edgerton, like two Aussie actors coming back to reprise roles where they were basically just in the background. But yeah, okay. Like, I really love the fact that Beru's badass. And I think there was a chat on the periodic table spoiler thread that was just talking about like, yeah, Beru probably had a couple of skeletons that she'd stashed away for that kind of thing, and she's probably gone on the lam with Owen, and she has it all worked out. Like, she had a backup plan. She wasn't just getting around serving blue milk. She was.
Oh, maybe she was like, well, after what happened to my sister, I'm not going to let that happen to me.
Yeah. Sister? Which sister?
Wait, wasn't Shmi her sister?
No.
Oh.
No. So yeah, like
Oh.
Shmi married Owen's father,
Oh, I've got it right.
and
Okay.
Owen married Beru, and they took the baby when they were younger. But also, yeah, like I love
Right,
fucking
okay.
sassy.
I knew there was a connection.
Sassy, smart ass Owen is fucking great. Just serving hurt bombs like across the Junlin waste. Like no one comes up and takes a fucking swipe at Owen.
Well,
Like
that
he's
Burn's gonna come back to get him. Though.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
No
yeah,
wonder.
yeah.
See, no wonder he was such a dickhead in the first one, where he's just like, "Shut up! Like, what have you got? All right, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, what are you trying to sell me? You know, what are you trying to run here?" I'm like, "Oh, he's just a bit of a dick." No, he's not. He's
Oh,
just
you
a
can go and hang
fucking-
out with your friends any old time. Like,
Yeah.
like he's become a grumpy asshole dad, but at the same time, it does make that point where they both turn up as crispy skeletons just a little bit harsher.
I just love. I also absolutely love that where like Obi-Wan is just kind of like, "How sad." Anyway, off to Alderaan we go. Because every time I've run into Owen, I've just been served. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I mean, that was a nice little denouement, that whole sort of chase scene with Reva and
Yeah.
Luke and everything. I was wondering whether or not we were like, whether they're just going to leave Luke alone.
Yeah.
And there was a little part of me that was kind of like, I don't know, does he need to ever talk to the kid? But
It
I
was
mean,
done well.
What perfect use of that phrase.
Yeah, absolutely. And it explains where he got the T16 model from.
Yeah. Oh, do we really need to pay that much respect to a prop?
Yes, Jill. Yes, we do. It's
Giving
not just,
the internet a little bit back.
it's not just a prop. It's not a prop. But yeah, like
See, I loved the holster. I fucking love that he gave her the holster. And I don't give a fuck whether it's a holster that she had in a later movie. I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't think it even matters.
no.
Because the symbol of I'm saying that you're a warrior.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I recognize that you're an ass kicker, and I'm giving you this because you're going to put a gun in it sooner or later.
I was hoping that they would have just like she may have just shoved Lola in there
She did.
just for a while, you know.
She did.
Did she? Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the last shot, Lola's in there.
I didn't. Oh, okay, maybe I don't know why that didn't pass my brain.
You blinked.
I blinked, yeah, and I missed it. So
Yeah.
don't worry, I can go back and watch it all again, which I probably will
gonna
do.
say.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm watching it from start to finish again. But anyway, yeah, that was good. Is anyone disappointed by it? Anyone in the chat didn't like it?
Quite enjoyed it.
Well, I don't think we have to give it a rating. It's good. Go watch it. It's better
Yeah.
than fucking Book of Boba Fett. Still, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay.
Mandalorian's a different story. Gives me heart for the television series now,
Yeah.
and I want to
Yeah.
watch Andor as long as Alan Tudyk comes back to voice K2SO.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I hope so. They haven't announced
Well,
anything.
I don't think he's going to be in the first season.
Well,
I'm pretty sure they've said that K2SO is not in the first season of Andor.
Fucking get him in there. I don't give a shit.
Um,
Just shoehorn him in. I don't mind.
yeah. What else have we got coming up? We've got Ahsoka, which is shooting now.
Yep.
Andor, which is coming out relatively soon. Bad Batch, which is between now and then.
Yeah, there's another season of that cartoon, but live action stuff is just going to be like there's a few things that Acolyte and a few
Acolyte.
other kind of stuff
that's
that's sort of floating around, and it's okay, but also we don't want to get saturated by it. But I think they did realize it's like, okay, so the films are bad because we haven't done that. Oh, there's also the Taika Waititi TV show, which is going to be nothing to do with any of the stuff that we've already
Existing
seen, the
characters,
existing
right.
characters. So that could be
Yeah.
interesting.
Something fresh. That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
but it's I kind of feel like it's playing to its strengths now, kind of like how Star Trek is playing to its strengths with making television series. We don't really need to see movies. I'm not going to hang my hat on a movie. Whereas if you get a little bit more time to explore characters and things, this is a good one. But I also feel like there's a rumbling of like, oh, we come back and do season 2, and I'm like, oh no, you don't need to.
Yeah, there's a
Season
lot of
2
people
is
who are
episode 4. Like,
yeah,
calm
Yeah.
down.
yeah. I was trying to think of anything that you would do as a season 2 of this, and I was like, maybe follow Vader going and hunting down Jedi.
I think honestly they could do a season 2 if it became that thing that everyone was afraid of for Obi-Wan in season 1, which is it's Obi-Wan having adventures across the wasteland. Which I think
But
could be fine.
I don't want him to be on Tatooine.
No, we've had enough.
I've
of
heard a
Tatooine.
saying, and it's called flogging a dead horse.
Though in this case, it's his dead camel
AOP.
adjacent
Oh
animal
yeah.
that he
called-
was
they-
feeding raw meat to.
They're
which is-
called
like,
they're called
guys.
they're called AOPs.
of course. They are.
We don't need to keep doing more and more and more and more of something. Like
No.
we got a little treat and that was nice. Now let's just move on to something else. Stop.
Yeah, maybe those 6 episodes are the perfect thing. And I've seen a
Stop
bunch of
trying
people
to
going, "Oh, they should have just
rehash.
made it as a movie." And I'm like,
No, because you would have complained about the movie being too long, because then you wouldn't have got the character development, and people would have. Yeah, you would have been like, why did those choices get made? It's like because we didn't have enough time to flesh out character. Fuck. Okay, just
Yeah.
whatever.
The problem with like movies is that it's a completely different beast and you don't have as much creative freedom as you do with the TV series. So no, it's not going to be a movie.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that is why we have so many series now on Disney Plus, is because they invested in having this platform and they need to keep making content for it because their price is so exorbitant. So how are we going to get people to stay? We have to keep feeding them content that they want.
There was some.
So we're not going to make it a
content is-
movie.
I wonder if I can just look it up now. I'm just looking up the cost of the series.
I don't know. While you're looking that up, coming up, we have Andor, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, which is another series that I don't know about. The Acolyte, which is set potentially Darth Revan times, and then one that I am actually interested in and is still very much only in rumor phase at the moment is a series based on Lando, but with
Oh, give it to me.
yeah, exactly.
Give it
You
to
know,
me.
fuck, just a bunch of and I did hear a wonderful description of imagine if every single episode started with Billy D. Williams, ancient Lando, telling
Yeah.
stories in a bar somewhere.
Yep.
And then it flashes back to Donald Glover's sexy young Lando
Perfect.
being
Yes.
fucking sexy.
Yes.
Perfect. Amazing.
I would pay all the money.
Yeah.
So there was. It's an unverified rumor, but the rumor out there is that this series only cost $90 million.
What?
To produce? Yeah. And when you
It's
think
cheaper
like,
than a movie.
yeah, when you think that that's kind of like holy shit, and I can, that kind of explains the quarry fight at one point. But when you put that up against, like, sounds like a lot of money, but then when you put it up against
No.
things like Stranger Things season 4 has an astronomical $270 million budget or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
and like 250 million is the starting price for a blockbuster movie these days. Like,
Yeah. So, whenever there's sort of like there's a reason there that there's likely to be a season 2 because the cost was so low on this one.
they called it a limited series. I don't think they're gonna
Sure, but
make
I
a
mean,
season
it looks
2.
like it looks like they're just kind of, if they're making a bunch of stuff like this for a cheapish kind of way, I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. You know, see what happens with Andor, see if that goes off well. But that's an interesting
Is it
spice of a
August
story.
31st that comes out, and that's not fucking far away.
No,
No.
down for it. The
one
Lego
thing I
sets are
will
already
say-
coming out.
One thing I will say, I would love to spend more time with this Obi-Wan. Like, I really loved being back and hanging out with this Obi-Wan. I like the character, and I would happily spend another how many hours with him in another limited series. But you run such a danger of gilding the lily or jumping the shark or just fucking it up. And wouldn't it be nice if you knew that you had 6 solid episodes that haven't been fucked up?
Yeah, we don't need an Underground Fight Club episode.
And you know it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna
episode
be
3.
the underground hiding Jedi fight club.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I can see it now. Oh,
Perfect. Mwah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
makes me hurt.
A money-hungry droid that runs the ring.
No.
Yes, and it's gonna be racially insensitive, but
I feel like you're just getting to that territory like, what would be cool? What I want to see is Boba Fett riding a Rancor, and that's where they start the production show. It's like, how do we get there? Then
wait.
let's go back.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck,
So Book of
Jesus.
Boba Fett jumped the shark?
rode the shark into town.
Yes, he did. Yes, Book of Boba Fett rode the shark into town with a cameo by a more successful Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So we've still got a whole bunch of stuff to watch on Disney Plus. I think one of the greatest shames of this, and I've really enjoyed this series, but I think one of the greatest shames of this is that they inexplicably fucking hid Ms. Marvel behind it. Like, it's the softest launch for a Marvel series I've ever seen.
I don't know.
Which I mean, have to admit, I still haven't watched any of Miss Marvel.
You and
Haven't got around to
millions
it.
of others.
I'm gonna read it.
Like the first episode of Miss Marvel was on the same Wednesday that Obi-Wan switched to being on Wednesday.
Yeah,
It
well,
was a weird.
I'll get around to
call.
it, but I've been distracted by another space television series,
Oh,
which is For All Mankind.
oh, that's not the one I was expecting.
No, I know, right? It's on Apple. It's fucking amazing, and I've just consumed 2 seasons of it straight away, and it is tense and fucking well written, and kind of like watching Gravity for an hour,
Oh God.
but better because it actually makes
Okay.
logic sense, and it's just fucking tense, and it's kind of cool. Anyway, also like that every season they skip a decade. So they started in the 60s in the space race, and now we've just hit 1995, and it's just blowing my fucking mind.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good. Anyway, there we go. Yeah. Hey, welcome to Book of Boba Fett, and welcome to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we're talking about Star Wars. Go and watch For All Mankind on Apple TV.
Right. Okay, that was easy. Sweet. Well, thank you for joining us. Next
Yeah.
Tuesday night,
Thanks for
we
having
are
a chat.
talking about Lightyear
Mhm.
and
Chippendale. God, that was a fucking weird movie.
so weird.
Oh dear.
But I dig its weirdness. But we're going to talk
Mm.
all about it on Tuesday.
Yes, and then we have
And Jill,
then it's
Are
July.
you ready?
Oh my God, guys, have a prayer circle for me this weekend
Oh, yeah.
that I don't test positive for COVID because I really want to go to this red carpet on Monday.
I mean, I will wear a wig and pretend to be you if needs be.
I'll give you my ticket. You just have to take my Chris Hemsworth obsessed friend with you.
I will do that. You will not get COVID. I am telling you right now that
No.
you are COVID free, my dear.
Yeah, actually, I think it's just all in my head. I think I'm seeing it where there is no COVID.
Yes, well, we don't have to worry about that.
Just looking at the chat, did we miss anything? No, I think
Did we miss
people are-
anything? I don't know. Thanks for everyone in the chat that's come along. It was very interesting. Good topics and good reminders and stuff. Everyone sort of universally has liked it. I haven't seen anyone who just goes, "This was the worst version of Obi-Wan. He was absolutely pure in episode 1, and they've just meshed him up since then."
You haven't looked on too much of the internet, have you?
Oh, well, when you go, like, the internet is Mos Eisley Cantina. It's a wretched, Mos Eisley as city, wretched hive of scum and villainy, and
Man,
full of mods.
There has been some decidedly unhelpful hot takes about how Obi-Wan has been completely ruined by this series, and especially in the first how many episodes before.
I can't believe that they introduced Obi-Wan as a beta cuck.
Exactly.
Go and get a clean wank sock and cry to someone else.
Exactly.
Christ.
I'm guaranteeing that all of those guys, when they got to the end of episode 6, went, "Oh, yeah, maybe it wasn't so bad." So there's my takeaway from the fucking
There's
weekend.
your hot take.
Remember to give things fucking time. Give them time to breathe.
No, we make snap judgments and then have to retract ourselves later.
You are correct.
Yeah. Like the Orville. Oh, terrible show.
Yeah, give it time to breathe, guys.
yes. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for sticking around and having a chat about Obi-Wan or listening to us chat about Obi-Wan. We have like one more show before the end of the month, and then we have a whole new month.
So much month.
July.
As I
Yeah,
did like the
Rob
suggestion.
says call it July. And I pick everything.
July.
Yep.
So how do you know I don't pick it all already?
Good point. Well
I'm in
made.
charge of this podcast.
And we are not going to deny you your rights here. What?
Oh, I just forgot. It's the Herogasm episode of The Boys tonight. I need to go watch this.
I'm
Interesting.
scared.
Apparently, it's more hardcore than what you would watch in porn. So this is going to be interesting.
I believe the episode actually starts with the warning.
Yeah, I don't know how Amazon Prime is airing it, but okay.
Okay,
They
wait,
quite literally say,
hang on 1 second there.
um,
Jeff Bezos built a giant penis rocket. So
Yeah, but he didn't stick it up his ass.
just because he couldn't fit it.
He didn't try.
You know,
hard enough.
you know that he kind of did. He just lubed up the top and sat on it, jumping up and down, going, "Oh, it's
Oh,
not fitting.
gross.
I'll take it to space instead."
He's like, I'm so good. I'm so good.
I'm intrigued, but also I'm way behind on the boys, so I'm slightly scared to watch it. But
Really?
yeah,
Oh, the musical episode was quite lovely. I really liked it.
Yeah, but the like
Which was episode 5.
you can
I
read
think.
some of the crew stories about building props for this latest season of The Boys, and a lot of them are like, "Yeah, I never thought I'd have to build a kind of realistic giant penis that someone can crawl into," and we filmed it.
Oh, dude, that was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. This episode's been banned in 4 countries. Only 4?
it's okay. Lightyear's banned in 14, so go figure.
What?
Can't have
Was
the
it
gays.
anti-communist or something?
No, it's just those 2 women kissing.
2 women. You can't have 2
fuck,
mothers.
Right. Yeah. Forgot homophobia was still a thing.
How dumb
Yeah.
is that? But anyway,
Yeah.
all right.
Beautiful.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for
Have
having
a
a
good
chat. It was good to talk to you. Yeah, have a
weekend.
nice weekend. Have a nice relaxing weekend.
Yes,
I'm going to try and do
enjoy
nothing
yourselves.
tomorrow, and then I'm going to do nothing on Sunday.
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Tra-la-la. I shall be doing nothing. You're going to go raid anyone, Quinny? You got anyone online that?
At the moment, the
Channel
only
reaction?
channel that I follow that is online is Critical Role, and I will not drop you in the middle of a. Actually, it'll be right at the end of a Critical Role stream, so that was probably not a great idea.
All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks for sticking around. You're amazing. We'll see you Tuesday soon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yay!
Bye.
Good night.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. The powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. The martial arts from Iron Fist and Wall, I'll dap her up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're out of cheeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind, or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Bucky Barnes and arm wrestle for hours. This NMA and bring her lots of flowers. Oh, call Hellboy up and learn to smoke cigars. Be Tony Stark at all the trendy bars. It'd be a guy's night out. We'd make that wolf pack out. I'd run with Flash and do a marathon. Vacation to the Savage Land for fun. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of. I wanna live in a world full of heroes. Have NPR and CNN describe the latest team. I wanna tuck my kids inside and read 'em stories of superhuman glory while the sleepy faces beam. Go! I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown.